गुड मॉर्निंग लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन व्यूअर्स। हम एक बार फिर से कर्नल मान के साथ हैं। आपको पता होगा कि हमने पहला एपिसोड आई थिंक 81 एपिसोड भी कर्नल मान के साथ किया था, और ये 89th एपिसोड कर्नल मान के साथ हम करते हैं। और कर्नल मान के बारे में मैं दोबारा से बताऊं तो फिर ये 10 पैरा एसएफ से इन्होंने अपना करियर शुरू किया था स्पेशल फोर्सेज में। उसके बाद 21 पैरा एसएफ के ये कमांडिंग ऑफिसर बने, और इन्होंने ऐसे बहुत सारे कारनामे किए। श्रीलंका में इन्होंने लड़ाई लड़ी। उसके बाद में जब एज ए सीओ 21 पैरा एसएफ के, तो GOC-In-C का इनके यूनिट को साइटेशन मिला, चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ का साइटेशन मिला। और फिर इन्होंने रिटायरमेंट लिया, तो उसके बाद बार्कलेज जैसी बैंक में ग्लोबल लेवल पे काम किया। और एक ये अल्ट्रा मैराथनर बने, जहाँ एक गोबी जो डेजर्ट है उसमें इन्होंने 250 किलोमीटर का रन किया। और अभी रिसेंटली इन्होंने 1000 किलोमीटर का एक चैलेंज लिया, और जो इन्होंने अभी अभी पूरा किया। तो मैंने सोचा इनको दोबारा से लाया जाए और बात किया जाए कि आखिर वो कौन सा अ, अ, एक पैशन है जिसकी वजह से ये एक से एक डिफिकल्ट काम करते जा रहे हैं। So, Kanaman, once again, welcome to the show, which I call it a win life like a one.
Thank you, Colonel Tyagveer. It's my honor to be on your show and to be connected with all your viewers.
Thank you. So, कन्नामान, सबसे पहले जो बात जहन में आती है, जब आदमी देखता है कि कोई आदमी कंटिन्यूअसली अपनी टीनेज उम्र से लेके और अभी आज आप सीनियर सिटीजन हो, कुछ ना कुछ नया एक एडवेंचरस भरा हुआ या डिफिकल्ट चीजें करते जा रहे हो। सो यदि मैं एक सिंपल टर्म में पूछूं कि फॉर यू व्हाट इज द लाइफ ऑल अबाउट, लाइफ का मतलब क्या है आपकी जिंदगी का? क्योंकि आपने अभी तक कम से कम 62-63 सीजन देख लिए जिंदगी के, और बहुत कुछ आपने किया है। तो आपने अभी तक जिंदगी का सार क्या समझा?
So, काफी I would say heavy question you are asking, Colonel Tyagveer. What I think the purpose of life is to keep on exploring, new things in life and keep challenging yourself. Or when I joined the army at that particular time, जैसे NDA was a big challenge. उस समय we were young and we found it quite interesting. एंड वी एक्सप्लोर्ड, जिसे कहते हैं ना कि हम अपने कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर निकल के कुछ अलग करते हैं। तो वो एक ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस था जब हम एनडीए ज्वाइन किया और एनडीए की ट्रेनिंग वहां पे करी। फिर उसके बाद वी ज्वाइन द आर्मी, एंड व्हाइल आई वाज इन द आर्मी आई देन ज्वाइंड द स्पेशल फोर्सेस। सो दैट वाज अनदर, आई वुड से, एन एक्सपीरियंस इन इटसेल्फ, that you are trying to get into an activity which is not very comfortable physically and mentally. एंड काफी सारे लोगों ने ये भी बताया कि ये मतलब जो लोग स्पेशल फोर्सेस में होते हैं, दे आर नॉट नॉर्मल पीपल, एंड they do a lot of other stuff which I was not very clear about. But when I joined the special forces, I found that they are also as human as anybody else, and only difference in them is that they are very focused in life. Whatever they choose to do, and they put in all their hard work and their energies to achieve the results, and that is how they are able to, I would say, do much more than the rest of us. This is what I liked about the special forces. And when we were doing various operations while we were in 10 para, and then later on I commanded 21 para also, so I found that this focus which comes from a degree of danger, that when you expose yourself to certain dangerous situations where there is fear and there is a chance of losing your life, at that particular time your entire body, mind, soul, everything combines together to achieve the results and to survive. And that is a time when you actually come to know about yourself, about your capabilities, about your potential, and you do much more than what you otherwise in a normal circumstances be doing. So I found that that is a very interesting area which we need to keep exploring ourselves, So while I was in the army, we used to take most of the tasks, which even within the special forces, people would tend to take it with a lot of caution. I used to say that I will do it or my team will do it. And while we were planning for those tasks, there was so much of learning at our junior subordinate levels, even for myself, that we were trying to do something which was not done before. And when you are getting into that kind of realms of operations, there you break barriers, you go beyond your personal potential and capabilities, and you also tend to achieve much more. Even if we are not successful in that operation, but the kind of learning we would get in those kind of operations would be far more than in a normal operation. And when I joined, after leaving the army, I joined the corporate world. That is the time when I always try to inspire people that they should not stay in their comfort zone. They should try to explore the unexplored area about the human, endurance and potential. And that's how I got into these ultra running. That is where I met a lot of good athletes who inspired me, and we gelled very well. And that is how my physical fitness journey had been. And initially, I was not so fit. Even while I was in the army, I never used to go for ultra runs. I was going for normal PT and runs. But then in 2018, when I did this ultra in Mongolia, uh, in Gobi Desert, so that is the time I realized that there is a lot of potential which we have not explored. And that's how I learned a lot also in those that race, because the kind of food you have to eat, the kind of equipment you have to carry, and how you can survive in those adverse conditions, despite the daytime temperature was plus 30, 35, and night it used to be minus 15 degrees. So that is how I learned new things, new tactics of survival. And this 1000-kilometer journey also was of similar nature, that I wanted to run along the border, though I was not very sure that I would be able to run 1000 kilometers. So I was expecting that wherever and whatever distance I can travel, as long as my body is fit and I do not hurt myself, I should do that. And after that, there will be others who would be there, who would be running. So I thought it would be great fun to meet and interact with people along the border, and also meet a lot of veteran community uh, who are settled along the border and who also need some inspiration, because after leaving the army, they are staying alone in isolated, desolated places. So meeting them would be also great fun. And while you are running, you will also be meeting a lot of serving people also, because the armed forces are deployed along the border. So that will also give us an opportunity to interact and see how things have changed in the last couple of years, because I left the army in 2007, and since then almost 17 years have passed. So it would have been, and some of the areas I have not even served. So there was a quest to kind of travel in those areas, see new places, explore, and get the spirit of adventure, uh, which is actually what really propels me to take these challenging tasks. So that's how I planned and went for it.
Great, Kanaman. And as you rightly mentioned, that purpose of life is truly that keep taking challenges, keep going ahead, and what I can make out that come out of your comfort zone, whether you are in special forces or the civil environment, wherever you are, always take challenges, and that is what you are doing. So, Kanaman, अपने सर्विस के एक्सपीरियंस से, स्पेशल फोर्सेस के एक्सपीरियंस से कुछ एक दो ऐसे इलस्ट्रेशन देंगे जहां यू रियली गॉट इनटू वेयर यू मेंशन दैट कि जब लोग बोलते थे कि भाई बड़ा सारा कैलकुलेशन करते थे, वहां आप बोलते थे कि भाई मैं कर लूंगा, आई विल टेक अ चैलेंज। ऐसी कोई एक दो सिचुएशंस और या ऑपरेशंस जहां आपको इस तरीके से चैलेंज लिया और फोकस तरीके से फिर आपने वहां रिजल्ट अचीव।
See, as far as operations are concerned, basic level operations which we used to do over there was carrying out surveillance. And in some of the areas which were, I would say, no man's land, where nobody used to venture in those areas, and the time required to carry out the operation, the travel time, as well as to sustain yourself, was limited to certain extent, let's say 4 days, 5 days. So in many of those areas where you do not have any support infrastructure or the military deployment, we carried out operations for 12 days, 14 days, and even to the extent of when we were not getting results, and but we knew that there is a presence of militants in that area. So boys themselves, they urge that we will stay there until we get the result. So I think the one, of course, taking the challenge in the areas where nobody else would have ventured, at a small unit going in over there and doing it. And second is to sustain yourself for a prolonged period of the hardships which you have to go through. So those are some of the things. And post I left the unit, we did carry out surgical strikes, which were also quite successful. And the kind of, I would say, the skill sets and the confidence which the boys achieved in their basic training and their combat skill was the one which paved the way for them to take those tasks. And even the higher commanders were quite confident that the unit is now capable enough to do these kind of surgical strikes. And even before the surgical strike, which happened in 2016, so this was the first surgical strike which our unit was able to do it. So there was, I think, the collection of lot of things which was happening. I wouldn't say that I asked them, but I gave them that confidence that if you deploy, like even when we were deployed in Assam, at that particular time, the insurgency in early 2000 was not so much for us to get results. So I spoke to the corps commander and the army commander, and I said that we should be deployed in Manipur, which is far more hot and where we will have more results. So they were kind enough for to deploy us over there, and we then carried out sustained operations in those areas. So that's how it really worked out for us. There was no specific, I would say, individual operation, but it was collective decisions which we took to carry out operations in Manipur. And when we used to do the operations, our planning itself used to be quite innovative in terms of how we would be able to get the results. We never discussed all these things, the higher headquarters also. It was very, I would say, at a unit, subunit level, we used to discuss these plans, and that's how we were able to achieve it. Means I cannot share everything, those many details in this forum. Yeah.
Certainly, certainly. Naman, what you rightly said is that a lot of skill sets are required to achieve results, especially in the combat zone. And that is what you have inculcated in your men, or not only men. सेल्फ एनालिसिस लोग कमी करते हैं. यू ऑल्सो ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम नॉट ओनली आपने अपने मैन में इनकलकेट किया, आपने भी बहुत कुछ एक्सप्लोर किया. सो आप यदि हमारे ऑडियंस को ये बताएं कि वो कौन सी स्किल सेट है, whether it is in combat zone or even in the life. Life is also like a combat zone only. Every day you come to know some challenge and आप उसको ओवरकम करते हैं यहाँ पे. तो वो कौन सी स्किल सेट्स हैं जो रियली, whether it's the combat zone or the life, जो इम्पोर्टेंट है एक आदमी को सक्सेसफुली अपनी करियर जिंदगी को बताना?
So I would say success. I think it is a very, I would say, internal thought process of each individual, that what he or she may call it as a success. So while we were in the army, we wanted to be the best unit, whether it is in terms of the combat experience and able to carry out combat tasks successfully. That was our aim. And when you are in the civil, then you always want to achieve results which are expected from the higher commanders or the the company, that you should be able to get them the best of results. Many a times it is maybe very routine in nature, in terms of, let's say, cutting the cost and getting the maximum potential from your boys who are working under you. in a company, it could be even with less number of people, how best you can achieve results. And if you have your personal journey and your endurance, then obviously if you are like a runner like me, so my personal journey would be that how can I be faster, how can I run longer, how can I sustain myself, how can I be able to achieve results which otherwise have not been achieved before by myself. So it's a very personal journey when you really look at it. You don't compare yourself with others when you are doing these activities, especially running. It's a very I would say a sports where you're trying to talk to yourself and trying to keep yourself motivated every day, getting up in the morning, getting out of your comfort zone and going for a run. So in those circumstances, you are not trying to show to anybody else. It is you yourself and your own mind which you have to conquer. And the best time it's very meditative also, because when you're running, there is no disturbance and you are in your own thoughts. And if in case there is a problem which you are having in your life, whether it is work related, whether it is some social issues or some problems which you're facing, so you can try to contextualize that and get the answers to those problems. So I would say my journey, because I've been a runner and I love to run. So life revolves around that in terms of your thoughts, your meditation, and what you want to achieve. So before that, while you were working, so you always wanted to get better results from your subordinates, and therefore you wanted to inspire them in their work culture. So all these things, they come from, I would say, probably our basic training which we did in NDA and military academy and the units, where we are disciplined and we have a very strict regime in terms of our routine, getting up early in the morning and getting out of the bed and doing things. So from that it comes. So
True,
nowadays
true,
in
true.
the present generation, probably it may be slightly different, that they may want to get up later, maybe wanting to go, instead of running they may go for to gym, they may do different activities, they may take sports which are uh, you know for their comfort zone. So for me it was getting out of the bed in the morning and going for a run. And I think that really helped me to kind of find the answers to any issues or challenges faced in life. For example, if in case you are having a problem, a very serious problem or issues related to anything, whether it is work related or otherwise. So sometimes you have to use your subconscious mind to find the answer. So you sleep over it, and next day you find an answer or a direction or at least a path. Similarly, I find running is very invigorating and refreshing. So when you run, after that you come back and your mind is clear and you can take a decision in whatever way you want to. Yeah.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही बोला कनमान, एंड आई फुली सब्सक्राइब टू दैट, फुली रिजोनेट विद योर थॉट प्रोसेस कि आपने जो बोला कि रनिंग इज ए मेडिटेशन इन मोशन, एंड नो डाउट जब आप दौड़ते हो तो सिवा रनिंग के अलावा और कुछ सोच ही नहीं सकते हो. सो योर माइंड गेट अनक्लटर्ड, एंड ये भी बात सही है कि आपने बोला कि जो आपके इश्यूज कुछ चल रहे हैं या कुछ प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन नहीं मिल रहा है, तो एक बार रनिंग करके आ जाओ, तो देन अनक्लटर्ड माइंड से जब आप सोचते हो तो उसके सॉल्यूशन भी मिल जाते हैं. आई फुली agree with you because I also love running, and may not be of that distances, but yes, I enjoy it. कलमान, आपने जब रनिंग की बात की तो मैं आपसे ये वाली जो अभी इवेंट आपने किया, जो 1000 किलोमीटर वाला, इसी जब 1000 की बात सुनते हैं ना, तो आदमी का वैसे ही सोच में आता है कि कैसे पॉसिबल है. तो आप इसके बारे में जरा दो तीन हेडिंग्स की में लेके बताइए, कैसे आपने सोचा, पहले तो क्या उसके पीछे आइडिया या थॉट था कि मुझे 1000 किलोमीटर करना चाहिए, एंड हाउ डिड यू प्लान इट, और उसके बीच में जो आपने एक्सपीरियंसेस मिले होंगे कुछ, यदि आप शेयर करें दो तीन जगह के, जो भी आई एम श्योर जब आप एक महीने तक दौड़ते हैं रफली, तो उसमें कुछ ना कुछ ऐसी चीजें आपको मिली होंगे, एक्सपीरियंसेस होंगे, तो ये पूरी चीजें बताइए कि हाउ डिड यू प्लान, क्या थॉट प्रोसेस था, एंड फाइनली व्हाट डिड यू अचीव?
Yeah, so Kaltyavir, basically, as I said, that I wanted to run along the border, and why I wanted to run along the border was that वहाँ पे एक तो pollution कम होती है, and there is a lot of peace there in those areas, especially when you're running early in the morning. So that was my initial thought, that why not do it, along the border, especially in Kashmir. That was my initial thought, that if I can run along the border or LOC, and wherever there are tracks available or there are some roads available, I can run along the border and probably interact with different communities who are, whether the villages or the posts which are there, and meet them and talk to them and see how things are and what they think about life, as I think about fitness as my motive behind this run. Then later on, obviously, because of some logistical challenges, we could not do that. So we thought then we'll do it along the border instead. In Kashmir, we'll do it mostly in other than Kashmir, but symbolically we will come to Kashmir. So then distance was another next step, that how much of distance I should be able to run. Since I had done 250 kilometers earlier, and that was done in 5 6 days, and it was quite a grueling run, because in that run we had to carry all our stuff like food and your electrolyte, your vitamins, everything we had to carry in that 250-kilometer run in Mongolia. Whereas here, we were quite sure that we would have a logistic vehicle running along with us, and some bit of medical support would be required, because now I was not any younger than in 2018. So I thought that it would be better to have a logistic vehicle as well as a ambulance coming along with us all along throughout the run. And then I also wanted some more runners to join us for this run, because that is how you would have a team, and because you won't feel bored alone. So that is how this thought came, that 250 तो पहले किया हुआ है, और इस बार तो logistic vehicle भी साथ चल रहा है, and you are not carrying the weight along, so it has to be more than that. So initially 500, then slowly I said, okay, if we cover all the states, along the western border, why not try doing that? So that is how I thought of all the states. Then 250 total border जो हमने cover किया was around about 250, 2,500 kilometers from Diu till Kashmir. So all that 2,500 kilometers we couldn't have run in that short time. So because even after some time we knew that the summers will set in and there'll be a lot of heat and we won't be able to run beyond certain time. So we said that we should try to reach Kashmir by April. At the max by 15th of April we should be able to reach there and finish our race if we start by first week of March. And so then I said, okay, if that be the case, then average run I can do about 25 to 30 kilometers on an average if I run. So if I have to run that many days, so I should be able to cover 1,000 kilometers. And that's how then I broke down the entire distance into different legs for each state. Uh, One was from Diu till Dwarka, which was mostly in Gujarat. Second was in Rajasthan, uh, which was starting off from, initially we thought of Munabao, starting from Munabao and going up to Tanot. And third one was from Anupgarh, going up to Firozpur. And then finally we were to run in Kashmir, which was initially thought of from Jammu onwards till Patni Top, but then we had to change it based on whatever the recommendations were coming from the armed forces, army, that we would be able to provide you logistical support because of the accommodations and all that. So that's how we planned it. And some of the planning continued while we were running also, because different legs were there, and each leg uh, we had different people running. It was not that the entire run was by same people. So few of us were running for the entire distance, but most of them, they were joining us in each leg. So we had created a logistics team for each of the legs, and they were given certain responsibilities in terms of accommodation, where to stay, and to coordinate with the army, navy, and whoever is responsible, if in case we have to get the accommodation in the civil also. So we were coordinating that. And besides that, of course, we wanted to connect with the ex-servicemen community, the NCC cadets. So we reached out to the NCC directorate also. So who were kind enough and helped us in connecting with the NCC nodes there, and who organized cadets to come and join us for those runs. Then in many of the places where they were able to get, we were able to get ex-servicemen community also to come and have a cup of tea after the finishing of the race, and they were also quite motivated to see us doing this kind of run. So all this was kind of falling in place. Initially, the planning started end of January when we sent the proposal to the army, and by mid-February onwards, initially we got the kind of verbal approval that we can go ahead with this run. And based on that, we created a core team. And that core team was then given the responsibilities, thing like that. And by mid of February, we also got the written approval by somewhere around the 15th of February onwards. We got the written approval, and thereafter we requested uh, at the border units and formations how they can provide us the support in terms of the accommodation. And then I also reached out to the colonel of the regiment of the special forces and requesting if some of the boys can also run along with us wherever they are. And most of the units were very happy to send their boys to run along with us, because for them it was just 5 days, 6 days they are running along with us. But for us, it was great motivation that every place we went, we had few boys of that unit running with us. And that also gave us a lot of josh and invigorated us with the energy. Initially, they thought that it would be difficult to run every day, but then they also saw that the people like us are running who are above 60 years of age. So they also got a lot of josh. And then we had some sponsorships also from some companies. Like we had sponsorship from Leap, who provided us the electrol and protein for the run. And that's how we were able to sustain ourselves throughout the run. Then we had support from Iris, one of the companies which was run by a paratrooper. So he supported us for the accommodation, that wherever we had to pay for the accommodation, so they stepped in. Then one of the postmates who stepped in for the transportation, that whatever the cost which is going to be incurred for the transport, so his company Horizon, they helped us. And then our main sponsors, Sud Life, which is Star Union Daiichi, an insurance company. So they also stepped in and they sent their persons to come along with us and run in the first leg, as well as they covered some bit of our digital footprint in the social media. And so that's how it kind of fell in place. And we were able to manage and plan this run. So it was I would say, a team effort. Individually, it wouldn't have been possible for me to do everything. So we broke down all the responsibilities for each leg. And we also got support from our sponsors, Iris, Horizon, Sud Life, um, and Leap. And so that's why we had the confidence that we would be able to sustain ourselves. And the most important was the Navy and the Army, who provided their unstinted support in terms of their ambulance. And wherever we had a shortage of accommodation or we couldn't get the accommodation, they were able to step in and get us those places to stay. Yeah.
फैंटास्टिक फीट, देयर नो डाउट कलमान, क्योंकि मैं फिजिकली भी आपके साथ ज्वाइन किया लास्ट लेग में उधमपुर में, और आई कुड सी दैट जिस तरीके से जो कम्युनिटीज आपके साथ दौड़ी उसमें जोश था, जो अरेंजमेंट थे, और जिस तरीके से जो एक स्टंटमैन आपने उसको टर्म किया, स्टंटमैन कर्नल दत्ता, मतलब इस एज में आने के बाद विद इंटरमिटेंट सेटबैक के बाद में वो आके फिर उधमपुर में उन्होंने जोड़ा, वो एक थोड़ा सा हमारे व्यूअर्स को बताइए कि इट्स अ लॉट ऑफ मोटिवेशन, लॉट ऑफ इंस्पिरेशन वन कैन गेट फ्रॉम कर्नल दत्ता.
Yeah, absolutely. We had Colonel Datta, who's senior to me. Firstly, I would like to tell that he was the most spirited officer in our team. And when I approached him through one of my course-mates, because when I asked my course-mate if you can join in for this run, so he says, I may not be because I have some pains in my heel, but I can give you a name of a person who would definitely be keen to join this run. So he gave me Colonel Datta's name and his phone number, and I contacted him. So the moment I gave him a call and I said that this is what we are planning to do, so would you like to join in? So he says, why not? And he says that I'll be there from the first day of the run till the last day of the run. Means whenever you want me, I will be there. So that was very, commendable on him for having given me that assurance. And that's how we created our core team. He was the first guy, means one of the first guys who kind of joined us. Then during the run in yeah, this area of Suratgarh, so he had already done around about 800 odd kilometers when he had some issues, his health issues and all. He had some pain and things like that, and he blacked out for some time. But it didn't happen while he was running. We were planning to have lunch, and at that time it happened. And we were lucky that day that we had a vehicle from ASC CO over there, because the CO ASC had come there. He was also an ultra runner. So he had come to coordinate for the next day's run. And we were sitting together, and he had this, blackout kind of a thing. And we immediately put him in the car, in his vehicle, COSC, and the COSC and the driver, they were familiar with the area, and they took him straight away to the hospital. And while he was being taken to the hospital, we were constantly pumping him and, trying to revive him, and lifted his legs. And lucky for him, he came in, and he was conscious at that time. And he lost some bit of, I would say, few minutes when he was totally blacked out, and because of his cardiac issue. And we did his ECG at the hospital, and he found that his ECG was not very, it was having abnormality. And so the doctors recommended for an angio. And we moved him to a super specialty hospital, and everything fell in place in terms of the hospital, the doctors, and the senior commanders over there. In fact, the GOC also was personally taking interest in this case, since we were doing the run along the border. So he also put in his word to the hospital and to the super specialty hospital which was there. And we had Colonel Rana, my postmate, also there with me. He also knew people over there. So, everything fell in place, and quickly his angiography was done. And we found that he needs some bit of, the stents have to be put in two of the arteries. And the recommendation was that either we do it at that place in Ganganagar, or we take him to his native place, wherever he's come from where his post-surgery care can be taken. So we spoke to the family, we spoke to the Colonel Datta also, and we took the decision. We take him to Gurgaon. So we provided all the support and guidance and help to his family, so that he can be, evacuated from there and go to Gurgaon for the treatment. So he went there, and soon after, I think within a week's time, he was absolutely fine. And then he said that he wants to come back and join the run. So we said that whatever the doctor's recommendations are, please follow that. And if you want to come, you are most welcome. So the doctors gave him the clearance, and he came down, and he was there in Kashmir in the final day. And it was great, and it was so heartening to see him back. And he was looking so fit, and after the surgery and all. So that was the episode, and that's how he said that he's a stunt man, and he managed to come back. And that's what he promised, right, from the beginning only, that from the first day of the run till the last day, I'll be there. And he stood by that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what an inspiring story. Viewers, you can hear that Colonel Datta, while running, he felt uneasy and he was evacuated. उनके स्टंट पढ़ते हैं, स्टंट पढ़ने के बाद और ऑलरेडी वो 800+ किलोमीटर दौड़ चुके थे। एंड उसके बाद स्टंट डला के फिर वो वापस उधमपुर पहुंचते हैं और लास्ट डे तक वो रनिंग के साथ थे। एंड आई वाज फॉर्चुनेट टू मीट दिस जेंटलमैन, सो क्वाइट इंस्पायरिंग सिचुएशन। कलमान, बीच में अभी कुछ व्यूअर्स की तरफ से कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं तो हम उनको ले लेते हैं। सो दिस वन जेंटलमैन हैज आस्क्ड, जय हिंद सभी ने बोला है आपके लिए।
जय हिंद।
इनका क्वेश्चन है, हाउ टू पुश आवर लिमिट्स इन रनिंग एंड इन जनरल लाइफ एंड बिकम मेंटली टफ। ये हर्षवर्धन ने पूछा है।
So, see, limits तो आपको खुद ही अपनी तय करनी है, and whenever you are doing any event or running, so you will come to know about your limits if in case you are having any pains, aches and all, and you have to also consult your doctors or your trainer, whoever you have, if you are running. And similarly, if you are doing something difficult in life, so you got to have a coach for whatever you are doing in life. So एक गुरु होना बहुत जरूरी है, and so they will be able to see you when you are doing any activity. जिसे कहते हैं ना कि आप अपने आप को खुद देख नहीं पाते हो जब आप कोई चीज कर रहे हो, तो let other person judge on your capability and performance, and see how far you can go. And sometimes you yourself can be your own guru if you read about it and you learn. So most of the time I do my own self learning by reading about a subject and then trying to take my own notes and learning about myself. So physically, because I have gone through a lot of surgeries and because of the injuries, and so I find that you should know about your body and your limitations, and you should keep setting. You can raise the bar depending on what fitness level you are in. But one more thing which I've realized is that when you take an adventurous activity or a challenging task, that time you get a lot of focus in doing an activity, so all other things are they are out of focus, and that particular activity which you have chosen as a career or as something challenging, that becomes like your main focus. So that itself brings in terms of your learning and upscaling and upscaling yourself. So I would say whatever you love and you're passionate about, take it as a challenge, and you will find your path, and you will find your guru also in that. So doing physical activities, mostly I would say it's a mental challenge. First you have to prepare yourself mentally that you can do it, and after that the physical challenges can be easily overcome. You have to prepare your mind and make your mind to work for you, and sometimes even your subconscious mind has to work towards your goal. You sleep with the problem and you get up with the solution, or you want to do some certain activity and you're thinking about it, so sleep with it, and next day you'll find that how can I do that, you'll find the answer. That's how I have been able to find my answers.
एक और क्वेश्चन है रमन, ये लोकेश ने पूछा है कि आर्मी में के लिए आजकल जो यंग बॉयज हैं उनमें काफी पैशन है आर्मी ज्वाइन करने के लिए, लेकिन सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस नीड्स कैंडिडेट टू बी बुक बॉर्न। सो so that is why another thing is, so less selection process in SSB also. What is your take on that? What he trying to say is कि physical or mentally के साथ साथ lot of you have to be bookworm also. So any thought of yours on this?
So I would say that knowledge is important, and it has its place. जहाँ पे भी कोई काम कर रहे हो, फौज में भी हम सोचते हैं कि पढ़ाई लिखाई कम होगी, लेकिन पढ़ाई लिखाई तो काफी है उसमें. So it's a basically a process of filtration. So अगर आपके पास नॉलेज नहीं होगी तो आगे जाके आपको मुश्किलें आ सकती हैं. सो पढ़ाई तो करना ही पड़ेगा, और पढ़ाई के अलावा आपके पास फिजिकल फिटनेस और मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ, ये सब चीजें जो है ये आनी चाहिए. अगर आपके पास ये मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ है तो फिजिकल फिटनेस आ जाएगी, और आप पढ़ाई भी कर लोगे और आपको सोल्यूशन भी मिल जाएगा. लेकिन ये कहना कि बुकवर्म है, ये तो आपके ऊपर निर्भर करता है कि हाउ मच ऑफ एंड हाउ यू आर स्टडिंग. ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि आप पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं लेकिन मतलब फोकस तरीके से नहीं कर रहे हैं, इसलिए आपको लगता है कि बहुत पढ़ाई करनी पड़ती है. अगर आप फोकस तरीके से 2 घंटे 3 घंटे रोज पढ़ें, तो मेरे हिसाब से तो ज़्यादा मुश्किल नहीं है एनडीए की तैयारी करना या सीडीएस की तैयारी करना। एंड अगर आपको कोई कोच वगैरह मिल जाता है या कोई पुराना जो एसएसबी वगैरह में जिन्होंने सर्विस किया हुआ है, तो वो थोड़ा और आपको अच्छे तरीके से गाइड कर सकते हैं आपके रिटन एग्जाम क्लियर हो जाने के बाद। और आजकल कई सारे कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स भी आ गए हैं जहाँ पे वो आपको फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग भी दे सकते हैं। सो ग्रुप डिस्कशन वगैरह में भी आपकी हेल्प करवाई जा सकती है उन सब चीज़ों में। तो थोड़ा सा कोचिंग लेने में कोई हर्ज नहीं है, उससे आपको अपने बारे में भी पता चलता है। लेकिन पढ़ाई थोड़ा करना बहुत जरूरी है, बिकॉज दैट विल गिव यू आई वुड से बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट द सब्जेक्ट। एंड आगे जाके भी आपको काम करने में सहूलियत मिलेगी जब आप फौज ज्वाइन कर लेते हैं। तो इसको आप एक तरीके से चैलेंज समझ लीजिए कि आपको फौज ज्वाइन करनी है, थोड़ा पढ़ाई लिखाई करनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि ये एक फिल्ट्रेशन प्रोसेस है टू वीड आउट जो ज्यादा अच्छे नहीं है।
बिल्कुल सही है कनुमान। दो क्वेश्चन आए हैं, एक पूछा है अग्निवीर के ऊपर, आपका व्यूज पूछा है, दो लोगों ने पूछा।
तो मैं तो ये कहूंगा कि अभी बहुत अग्निवीर अभी शुरू हुई है ये स्कीम, सो इसको टाइम लगेगा देखने में कि इसका लॉन्ग टर्म पर्सपेक्टिव, एडवांटेजेस डिसएडवांटेजेस क्या होंगे। मैं बहुत ही अग्निवीर से मिला वहाँ पे जब मैं भाग रहा था। तो मुझे लोगों में हर इंसान अलग होता है। मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं दिखा कि नॉर्मल सोल्जर या अग्निवीर में। लॉट ऑफ चैलेंजेस आर देयर इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर फ्यूचर, कि भाई आगे क्या होने वाला है। तो अभी तो हम ये कहना बहुत मुश्किल है कि भाई वो आगे जाके क्या बन सकते हैं। ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि कुछ अग्निवीर बाहर जाके और अच्छा काम कर सकें और देश का नाम कर सकें, कोई नई कंपनीज वगैरह चला सकें। कोई ऐसे भी होंगे अग्निवीर जिनको फौज के अंदर बहुत अच्छा काम करने का मौका मिले। कई ऐसे भी हो सकते हैं कि जिनको ये सब चीजें ना मिले और वो थोड़े से जिसे कहते हैं डीमोटिवेटेड हो जाएं, और उनको लगे कि ये अग्निवीर स्कीम अच्छी नहीं है। तो इसके कहने का मतलब बहुत अभी कहने का इसके ऊपर मैं ज्यादा डिबेट नहीं कर पाऊंगा, क्योंकि अभी तक ये स्कीम जो है पूरी तरह से जिसे कहते हैं इसका इफेक्ट जो है पूरा पता नहीं है। लेकिन ये कहना कि भाई अग्निवीर किसी और से कम है, ये तो अभी गलत होगा। It is too soon to for us to say anything about it. We will see how things fan out, and I'm sure there would be positives and there would be some negatives, and there is an opportunity for us to modify it accordingly if in case it is required.
ट्रू ट्रू, एब्सोल्युटली। अच्छा, ये दो लोगों ने दो डिफरेंट लोगों के बारे में आपसे पूछा है, इफ यू नो देम। वन इज लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल जी एच मुस्तफा, एंड दूसरे कर्नल संतोष मादिक। इनके बारे में आपसे पूछा है, यदि आपको इनके बारे में कुछ पता है।
नहीं, मुस्तफा तो मेरे को नहीं पता, unless he is giving different names. I know about Santosh Mathik because he was my adjutant when I was commanding the unit. So very humble person and down to earth and loved and liked by all our men and officers. Unfortunately, we lost him when he was commanding a special RR unit in Kupwara. तो मैं तो यही कहूंगा कि उन्होंने अपनी जो शहादत है और जिस तरीके का उन्होंने काम किया है वो बहुत ही जिसे कहते हैं आगे लोगों के लिए, जवानों के लिए, ऑफिसर्स के लिए एक प्रेरणा की तरह बना है। और वी आर ऑल इंस्पायर्ड विद हिज हार्ड वर्क एंड परसिवरेंस, डिटर्मिनेशन, फिजिकली वेरी फिट ऑफिसर एंड वेरी वेरी हम्बल, डाउन टू अर्थ। महाराष्ट्र के रहने वाले थे, एंड his wife has also joined the armed forces after we lost him, and he continues to inspire a lot of youth in the country. So all hats off to him. Brave soldier, brave officer, and a very good human being he was.
ट्रू ट्रू। एक किसी ने पूछा है कि कनमान, आपका कोई एक्सपीरियंस ये अपना जो नेवी के मार्कोस होते हैं उनके साथ कभी हुआ है कुछ?
नहीं, मार्कोस के साथ हम श्रीलंका में डिप्लॉयड थे उस समय। शुरुआत शुरुआत हुई थी मार्कोस की, एंड दे वर आल्सो इक्वली गुड एज far as I would say officers and soldiers are concerned. At that time, they did not have enough of equipment as special forces, but there has been a marked improvement. What I've seen in their equipment profile and in their training and exposure. Now they are also deployed in Kashmir, in lakes where operations are carried out, amphibious kind of operations, or where there are water bodies, either for I would say recovery of warlike equipment which is submerged in a water body, and they are equally good. It all depends on how the leadership is, and they have done some remarkable jobs in Sri Lanka also, along the sea coast. Yes, at that time they were not having so much of combat experience, which has now been done. अभी recently इन्होंने ये जो ships वगैरह में और सोमालिया में on the coast, when one of the ships had been hijacked by the Somali rebels, so they have done commendable job. So
Yes.
and I feel that even in 2611 they had a very good role in terms of initial getting into the firefight with the militants. So it all you know based on whatever the combat experience they have got and they are getting, I'm sure they are one of the best in the world, and they'll continue to improve as their combat experience is also increasing, and they are now having good equipment also. I have gone to one of their units in near Mumbai, in um, one of the places, Abhimanyu, and I found them to be equally good and capable and to take out any of the challenges.
परफेक्ट। ये एक मिला जुला एक और क्वेश्चन है। दिस वन हैज आस्क Col Mann whether he had any fears back in SF days or before that, और दूसरे ने पूछा है कि lessons from para SF. There are multiple lessons, life lessons. If you can just in a short you can address these two questions.
सो फियर तो, डर तो सबके मन में होता है। मतलब आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि भाई आपके मन में डर नहीं है। आप हवाई जहाज से कूदते हो तब भी डर होता है, आप किसी ऑपरेशन में जा रहे हो उस समय भी डर होता है, जब कॉम्बैट फायर फाइट हो रही है उस समय भी डर आता है। But the over a period of time, when you're doing these things repeatedly, so you're able to overcome the fear, and you have a I would say responsibility towards your men and your subordinates, that you should be able to control your fear and also give them that confidence that they are able to overcome their fear. So that is how you work in those kind of environments wherein constantly you are under danger in terms of losing your life or your limbs. And so fear is something which is very natural, and it's a human जिसे कहते हैं fear and flight, fight and flight, वो डर से पैदा होती है. So how you control that, that is more important. So over a period of time, when you're doing these operations and you are having confidence in successfully doing those operations, so you are able to overcome the fear. The kind of life lessons which you get in the special forces, I think the first is this only, that how to overcome your fear, how to take challenging tasks in life. Because normally a person would not be endangering his or her lives, whereas in the special forces you are endangering your life constantly, and that is where you will also get more confident about doing the task in future. So if you are able to endanger your life and you are confident about it, then the rest of the tasks which are given to you in life, which could be in the normal peacetime soldiering, it becomes very easy when you know that you can do that, so why not do this? So I think it brings in a lot of focus also when you're taking these tasks, because there's no other better lesson in life than the fear of failure and losing your life. So that itself gives you a kind of focus which makes you do your task in a more I would say sincere way. मैंने देखा श्रीलंका में हम गए थे, हमने बहुत ट्रेनिंग करते थे, पीस टाइम सोल्जरिंग और ट्रेनिंग, लेकिन जब ऑपरेशंस में हम गए वहां पे, तो सारी ट्रेनिंग जो है वो वहाँ फेल हो जाती है। वो जब गोलियां चलनी शुरू होती हैं तो वो सबसे अच्छी ट्रेनिंग होती है, आपको सब फायर एंड मूव और सब चार्ल्स वगैरह सब सिखा देता है वहाँ पे. सो आई एम सेइंग द कॉम्बैट एक्सपीरियंस इज द बिगेस्ट आई वुड से ट्रेनिंग ग्राउंड where you can learn, because nobody wants to lose their life, and so you don't have to tell them what to do, they will do it on their own. अगर फिजिकल फिटनेस भी होना चाहिए तो वो अपने आप फिजिकली फिट होने की कोशिश करेगा, बिकॉज ही नोज दैट इफ ही इज नॉट फिजिकली फिट he'll not survive the next day. If he has to have proper learning about how to do camouflage and how to not lose your surprise, so all those trainings can be learned while you are in the combat zone. So no better training ground than the actual combat. जैसे कि sometimes we say na, one look on the ground is better than 100 lessons in the class. So that is how it is.
True, true. Hanuman, किसी ने पूछा any book you would like to recommend somebody? Some book. किसी ने पूछा है.
I don't know what exactly he'll be having, which kind of book does he want. There are a lot of books and there are a lot of thoughts and concepts, but depend on what exactly he wants in life lessons or whether it is to means I am now no longer reading so much on I would say Forge or Army, but mostly I am into the running now. So I try to now focus on ultra runs and things like that. So if in case somebody wants to learn about it, how to do ultra running, so there's a book called Born to Run. They can read that. And there are a lot of books. I don't know really exactly what his question is pertaining to joining the army, or is it something else?
Okay, I can tell you, all of you guys can read one book, The Atomic Habits. That will give you a lot of learning about lives. Okay.
Yeah.
This is for everyone. Okay.
One more book I can recommend, I think 1% Improvement, which has been a concept which was started by David Brailsford. He's a cyclist, and UK team was trained by him. And it's just that every day you should improve 1% in whatever you are doing or whatever you are trying to achieve in life. And over a period of time, you would be a master. And then there is another book by this thing, Malcolm Gladwell, Outlier, which is talking about 10,000 hours. If you're working or doing something in a focused way for an objective, so it takes about 10,000 hours to achieve success or mastery. So if you want to be a master in anything in life, then you need to spend time. 5-6 years lag jate hain 10,000 घंटे करने में. So you can achieve that success. I am not talking about just for the joining armed forces. It is just to become a master in any discipline.
So, in fact, 1% जो आपने mention किया Ganaman, it's so simple because if you improve every day 1%, that become 1.01 after day one. So in 365 days, this is equal to around 30%. So within 1 year, you improve yourself by 37%. And this is a tiny only improvement you do every day, and that become colossal at the end of the year. So very rightly brought up. Kanaman, in fact, life की जो चाहे वो कॉम्बैट में है, चाहे वो सिविल लाइफ में है, 4 बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वालिटीज हैं. एक तो क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट्स बहुत जरूरी है. कहीं भी हैं आप, यदि सक्सेसफुल होना है तो क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट्स बहुत जरूरी है. वंस योर थॉट्स आर क्लियर, उसके बाद में आपका करेज टू टेक एक्शन. देन once you are taking the action, then there has to be commitment and the consistency. ये 4 सी जो है, इस पे आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे जो हमारे सुनने वाले? क्लैरिटी, करेज, commitment and consistency. 4 C's.
So I think they all evolve around one thing which you want in life, which is far more dearer than anything else in the world. So let's say if you want to join the armed forces and that's your aim. So that thought is very clear, clarity of thought I have to join the armed forces. Now, after that, commitment, courage, they'll fall in place if in case you are committed towards it. It shouldn't happen that, after having a glass of beer or probably during a lighter discussion with your friends that you have decided कि मैंने फौज join करनी है, लेकिन next day you are still sleeping and you're not working towards it. So that is not something which you are actually aspiring for. It is just that you are trying to self-deceive yourself and you are saying it for the sake of saying. So the clarity of thought is also in terms of how much you want that thing. And if you want that thing, then you will do everything in humanly possible to achieve it. So clarity of thought is everything is combined together with the commitment and having the courage to take those challenges. And what was the fourth C?
Consistency.
So once you have the courage, consistency, and commitment, you will get your goals.
Real.
So main thing is to get that focus. कि भाई तुम्हें चाहिए क्या? You have to keep asking yourself every day, every night, what you want, and you have to keep motivating your mind to tell that I want to do this, I want to do this. So over a period of time, your mind will become strong enough to take the decisions, and then it will, discipline you by making you get up in the morning and start doing whatever your purpose is there in life. So I think you have to make your you have to make your mind stronger, and that will also give you clarity of thought, and your commitment and dedication, everything will come from there.
Absolutely brought on. कलमान, एक चीज है जिंदगी में कि जो एक डर होता है ना किसी भी नई चीज को करने से पहले, चाहे वो आप स्पेशल फोर्सेज में हैं एंड इवन आउटसाइड ऑल्सो, जब भी आप कोई नया काम करेंगे तो आपको एक फियर ऑफ अननोन होता है, या फियर ऑफ रिजेक्शन होता है, या फियर ऑफ फेलियर होता है। और ये बड़ा नेचुरल इमोशन है जो सदियों से है और जिसको आप अवॉइड नहीं कर सकते, बट फिर भी उसको ओवरकम करना बहुत जरूरी होता है यदि आपको आगे बढ़ना है। तो आपने अपनी जिंदगी में इस इमोशन को किस तरीके से बैलेंस आउट किया या ओवरकम किया जब भी आप ऐसी सिचुएशन में थे जहां सब कुछ अननोन था?
So anything you are doing challenging enough in life, so there will always be chance of failure. That's a, I would say, important thing which we must understand. And even in a normal routine work also, you may find that you are doing your work and there is a bit of a failure. And every success also which you achieve in life, no matter how big that success is, there are elements of failure in that also. When you go for an operation, you get a success, but there is an element of failure that something could have gone wrong because this person did not do the right thing in those circumstances. So I say that the both success and failure, they both are very intertwined to each other. So if you are doing anything in life, so don't be afraid of failure. If you fail, it is giving you an opportunity to learn and to overcome that failure, and that experience is important. So it's important that after the failure, how you recover and take that challenge again, or come out of that failure, how quickly you are able to come out of that. So failure and successes, they are part and parcel of anything which you are doing in life. So if you are afraid of failure, then that means you have not really tasted the success yet. So there are so many people we have seen in life, in their careers, who have failed, whether it is in terms of doing something like an invention or thing like that. Like Edison is one example, and even Steve Jobs also failed initially till he finally succeeded in life and he created such a fantastic brand. So I'm saying, don't be afraid of failures. Keep doing the job to the best of your capability, your potential. Keep doing your job to the best of your capability and potential, and don't worry about the failure as much as what you want to do, because when you do a failure also, there is a learning attached to it, and you will find the answers to the failure in the next how many times these rockets which have been sent and they have failed, and ultimately you succeed in getting a rocket, especially this recently I was reading about uh, uh, Elon Musk's rockets program, wherein I think 5 or 6 times they failed, and then finally they were able to land back. So I think the success and failure, they are part and parcel of human life and endurance, and we shouldn't be afraid of failures. As long as you have the bandwidth and capability in terms of, let's say, if you're losing money, then obviously you have to think about it, that whether the next task which you're doing, uh, you should be spending that much of money or not. First, you have to learn from the failures. So I don't think that there is need for you to be afraid of it. But yes, you have to learn from the failures and be more cautioned about it. And keep doing your job to the best of your capability and potential. You will find your answers.
Very rightly brought out, Col Mann. And viewers, fail is first attempt in learning. Every time you fail, you learn something good and implement in the next attempt so that you don't do the same mistake again. And that is what Colonel Mann has said, that you learn from every failure. Colonel Mann, आगे हम ये चर्चा को आगे बढ़ाते हुए, you have been fearless, you have been in special forces, you have been ultra marathoner. हर जगह आपने हर स्टेप पे एक नया चैलेंज लिया है, लेकिन आपका एक दूसरी साइड भी है जो मुझे पता लगी है कि यू आर वेरी सॉफ्ट एट हार्ट, एंड आप सैरो शायरी भी आपने की है अपनी जिंदगी में। जब हमने पिछली बार आपसे कन्वर्जेशन किया था तो ये वाला टॉपिक थोड़ा अनटच रह गया। उसके बारे में बताइए कि ये जो आपका एक पहलू है जो शेरो शायरी वाला, ये कहाँ इनकलकेट हुआ और आपने इसको कैसे यूटिलाइज किया अपनी जिंदगी में, अपने को काम कूल। यू आर अ वेरी काम एंड कूल पर्सन विच आई कैन सी दैट, अनलाइक आई मस्ट से द यूनिफॉर्म पर्सन और ए स्पेशल फोर्सेस पर्सन। तो ये कहीं ना कहीं आपको कामिंग इफेक्ट की तरह आपने यूज किया हुआ, तो उसके बारे में थोड़ा बताइए, कहाँ से आया, कैसे यूज किया।
See, Shero Shari, so basically my one of my grand uncles used to be quite a good shire, and he was also in the military. He was in the AMC, and whenever he used to come home, so he used to talk about it and connect with the Shero Shairi. So that is how I was inspired. I never read about it. I used to find good words and then connect those words together to make a share and try to see if that can inspire people. So while I was commanding the unit at that time, I found that when you're talking to your men, it resonates pretty well if you have to challenge them to do certain things in life. And many a times I found that it is a very apt way, in a very short 2 lines or 3 lines, you can describe a life of a person or a life of a special forces soldier, what they do, how they do. And it touches your heart also, because there cannot be a better way of connecting to your heart than poetry. And language itself has got beautiful words, Urdu language, and some of it is Urdu mixed with Hindi. And that's how I found. So whenever I used to talk to my boys, whenever they are going for an operation or they're coming back from an operation, so I used to share some thoughts, in a very relaxed way, and they liked it. I also enjoyed that, and it inspired them when you're going for a difficult job also. So that's how I developed this, and I don't write as much as I used to write earlier, but some of those shares still remain with me, and they're close to my heart, which I generally share whenever there is an opportunity. So like I was running this ultra 1000 kilometers, तो उसमें भी I could share some of those shares with some of the runners, so they found it quite nice.
हमारे व्यूअर से कुछ शेयर करेंगे, एक आध जो आपने रनिंग में किया हो या ऑपरेशंस में किया हो, शेयर।
हाँ, तो देख, वन इज ऑफ कोर्स, मुश्किल कुछ भी नहीं है जिंदगी में। whenever you are doing any task, मुश्किल कुछ भी नहीं है, सिर्फ जान लेने की है देर। दरिया तो क्या है, आग में भी कूद कूद पड़े, सिर्फ ठान लेने की है देर। So this is very apt, like when you are taking a very challenging task in life, so nothing is difficult. It is all that you have to decide that you have to do it. And once you have decided, you can overcome your fears, your own internal demons. आग में भी कूद पड़े, you can overcome your fears, you can overcome your demons. दरिया तो क्या है, हम आग में भी कूद पड़े, सिर्फ ठान लेने की है। So once you have decided about something, you have, I would say, made up your mind, then you can do anything in the world. So the human potential endurance is somehow, I feel that we have not really tapped it adequately. There used to be people in our from our history, whether we take Maharana Pratap, Shivaji, and even Guru Nanak. If you really see the kind of life they lived and the way they traveled all over the world, and they used to walk and they used to preach, and they have traveled so much, and we have not explored that human side of this thing, the potential, as much as probably our predecessors have. So we should keep tapping, keep exploring the unexplored areas of ours, and take these challenges as they come, and inspire and get inspired by others. So that's how my life has been, and that's what the funda is of life and purpose.
Very inspiring, very inspiring. Both the share you shared really means it's just a, though it's just a two line, but lot of meaning in that. Lot of meaning.
Thank you.
एक दो क्वेश्चन और लेते हैं. किसी ने पूछा है ब्रिगेडियर भवानी सिंह के बारे में, आप कुछ शेयर कर सकते हैं?
So Brigadier Bhavani Singh was our CO when we went for war in 1971. So as you know, Maharajas, they're very polite and soft-spoken and sophisticated people. He was very sophisticated, and he knew our men from Rajasthan very well, and he could speak their language, and people could associate with him. मतलब ऐसा नहीं लगता था कि वो महाराजा हैं. He was a kind man, very generous person, and he commanded 10 para during the 71 war, and a lot of innovative ways by which we carried out the operation, and we won our battle honor in 1971, which we call it as Chachro, because we raided one of the Pakistani camp, Chachro village, and we got captured a lot of war material and prisoners of war, and that is how we got the Chachro battle honor. So very respected person. And when I joined the unit at that particular time, of course, we used to have very less, I would say, interaction with him. But whatever little interaction I've had, I liked a lot about his. जिसे कहते हैं कि एक very genuine person, very kind-hearted person, soft-spoken, very articulate, and a lot of things he did for the unit and for the armed forces with his innovative ideas, and to get 10 para where it is today. So it was loved by all boys and officers.
There are two more questions. One has asked that how to develop communication skill for SSB, and another one, how to develop mindset for the para SF. You can briefly touch upon.
So communication skills, I think the best way is obviously you have to first read, put your thoughts on a piece of paper, and then practice in front of a mirror, record yourself, and keep listening to yourself. And if you have another person who is better than you, you can ask him to correct you. While you are in the armed forces, you get a lot of opportunities in terms of when you're teaching in school, in the instruction as an instructor. So you get a lot of opportunity to instruct there, and so you do develop those communication skills while in the armed forces quite well. But there are a lot of institutes also who can provide you online coaching nowadays, which you can explore in case you are not having any support from any of your colleague or peers. The other thing, what was the next question which you said?
How to develop mindset for para SF.
How to develop mindset for para SF. First, of course, to develop mindset, you have to get out of your comfort zone and see how much you can actually, because when you are getting out of the comfort zone, you are making your mind that much more resilient and determined to do certain things. Let's say if you are wanting to, get up in the morning itself, that's also you have to kind of control your mind to be able to get up in morning. And you don't need to put an alarm. You can get up on your own also, as long as your mind is, I would say, जिसे कहते हैं ना कि उसको आपने टाइम कर रखा है कि भाई I have to get up in the morning at 4 o'clock, and you go to sleep before going to sleep, you tell your mind that I have to get up at 4 o'clock, and you should be able to get up at 4 o'clock without wasting any time and lying in the bed. That's the first thing which you can do. And then the second thing is that you constantly keep taking challenging tasks. जैसे छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं. Sometimes people say that you use both sides of your hands, so it also controls your mind, right? You're doing certain tasks in a physical dimensions using both sides of your brain. That also develops your brain. And what I found is that if you increase your physical potential also, whether it is running, whether it is doing some physical activity also, that also over a period of time helps in developing the mind. They are both actually mutually supporting each other. If you first ensure making your mind strong, then you will become physically strong. When you become physically strong and you keep doing tasks repeatedly, your mind will become strong. So they both go hand in hand. So physical fitness and mental strength that can be developed over a period of time. But first thing is that to develop the habit of getting up early in the morning and doing certain tasks which you otherwise feel very uncomfortable doing. So once you start with that, then you can take on difficult and harder tasks. And once your physical stamina improves, then you can take even more difficult tasks that will make your mind stronger.
True, absolutely true. किसी ने पूछा है ब्रिगेडियर SS शेखावत के बारे में, आपका इंटरेक्शन?
So Brigadier Shekhawat, we interacted when I was commanding my unit, and thereafter we went and did a run on the Pangong So Lake in Ladakh. So he's a very, I would say, a great guy, a very most decorated officer of the Indian Army. He has climbed Everest 3 times, and he, जिसे कहते हैं ना कि honest to the extent that sometimes people may think that he's rude, but he's so honest and he's brutally honest. Sometimes not a very great diplomat in terms of that, but sometimes you require these kind of people who can show you the face. And if you are good, he'll like you. But if you are not good, he'll tell you on your face that you are not good enough. So these kind of people are rare to get. He's a rare commodity. I think we really interact and get along well. And he supported me when I was doing this Pangong So Lake run. And the kind of, I would say, learning from him, despite the fact that he may be 10 years junior to me, I learned a lot from him. So he's a great soldier and a great leader. So I learned a lot from him.
नो डाउट, नो डाउट. सो कनमान, चलते चलते आपने पैरा एसएफ में दो पैरा एसएफ में काम किया, उसके बाद कॉर्पोरेट में काम किया, उसके बाद में आप डेजर्ट, गोबी डेजर्ट में आपने दौड़ा, फिर ये 1000 किलोमीटर रन किया. व्हाट नेक्स्ट इन योर माइंड, बिकॉज आई नो यू कांट सिट आइडल.
So अभी मतलब plans तो चल रहे हैं. Let's see how these things they fructify. Right now we're thinking of doing something in Ladakh, and for that we kind of thinking when will be the best opportunity where we can do that run. It is going to be in a high altitude area. Probably we are running along the the Aksai Chin area along the border with China, and so for that we have to be firstly also take care of our medical issues because it's a high altitude area, and secondly the distance also we're thinking of whether how much of distance would be good enough for us to do that race, because while you're doing the acclimatization there could be medical emergencies and those challenges. So we are working on that. So let's see how it works out and pans out. But the plans are on either in Ladakh or maybe northeast somewhere in Arunachal side. So we will work out and we'll let you know. तो अभी तक कुछ फाइनल नहीं हुआ है, बट सोच चल रही है अभी.
Good, Kanaman, and we in advance wish you all the best for any new adventure you take on, and wherever I can say for myself associate with you, I will always try to associate with you, like 1000 kilometer run. And I found that was opportunity for me to be part of that, because उसकी वजह से कुछ और चीजें भी साथ साथ हो गई. So it was wonderful. So once again, Kanamant, on behalf of my viewers and me, thank you so much. You found time to join with me second time and share such a brilliant wisdom with my viewers. There are not many questions which are coming up. I can answer later. But keeping time in mind, because your time is also equally precious. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Colonel Tyagaraja, and it was great to have you with us for this Ultra 1000, the final days. And I'm sure with your physical fitness, you can join us in our future endeavors and our runs. And look forward to be associated with you and with your viewers. Thank you, viewers, for listening to us and enjoying our discussion and whatever we could be of any use to you. Thank you.